Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another special episode of LoanOfficerPodcast.com. We are blessed to be here with Jay Rodriguez today. Jay, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Chris.
Awesome. For the fine folks out there, just give us a breakdown of your 2025. What did volume look like in 2025?
Yeah, so for 2025, personally, I was about 97 units, about 57 million in total volume. 39 million of that was purchased, 75 units of that was purchased, and then
Oh,
the
wow.
the rest was refi and close-ended seconds, HELOCs, etc.
That's amazing. So that's about a 60-40 split. Is that about right?
Uh, let's
Ish.
see. So I guess it depends upon if you're doing volume or if you're doing on the units. From a perspective of the volume, I believe that's gosh, almost like 70 over 75%, right?
Yeah, sweet. There you go. I'm leaving the math to you. I am not the math expert on this call. But a healthy mix of business on both sides. That's fantastic. So congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. And then I also am a co-branch manager as well. And then within our branch at Wise Home Lending, we ended up closing out the year with about 312 closings, and then it ended up being 147 million. So that was between myself, Mandy Henriette, and other loan officers within our group at Wise Home Lending, powered by our Financial Group.
That is amazing. Well, every 300 deals helps. And
Database is
boy,
huge. That's the big part about it.
right? And you can't do almost a deal a day without proper systems and processes in place. So again, thank you for being willing to be on the show and to share with the industry. It's fantastic. So where do you think that the majority of that business came from last year?
I would say that the majority of that business came from past clients as well as realtors. But if I go back and look at who actually had referred last year, as opposed to like a lot of big people that were sending me like 10 to 12 deals or like a deal a month, it ended up really being a lot of onesie, twosies, threesies. The majority
Huh.
of my business was a lot of agents. So it was agents, but also past clients. And one of the big things, I'm licensed in multiple states. I believe the number right now is about 26. I keep on adding within our team, but it having multiple states is super helpful, is because people don't just buy in California where I'm based, or buy just in Texas or in Utah where my partner and branch is based, but they're looking at investing in other places. So having access to so many licenses and being able to go ahead and help people as they're transitioning, as they're investing. One of the big ways that I actually have gained a lot of these relationships is every single time that we have a transaction, you have like at least six people that you get to go ahead and call every single, you can call them every day and they pick up because you're in
Yeah.
transaction with them. And I find that there's a lot of people that are just doing business with whom they've been exposed to. And every single time that we get to go and have a transaction elsewhere, we get the opportunity to go ahead and know that listing agent, know that buying agent. Sometimes that listing agent is actually pretty awesome, but the lenders that are in their area maybe aren't as awesome and they don't have as many systems in place as we do, or notifications or things of keeping updated. One of the big things that has helped me maintain really my touch with my clients, because I got in the business in 2010, got
Wow.
licensed in 2012, went to a call center in 2013, and ended up leaving that call center to outside retail. But at that point, I had like 22 states as well. So I'd been doing multi-state lending for a long time, and being a top loan originator at the call center, and then went to their outside retail within the same company for a couple of years, and then pivoted to the broker channel at Arbor Financial Group in March of 2019. So I had a lot of exposure to how a lot of different loans were done. But at the same point, as I was helping all of my clients, the big piece and why they kept coming back to me as opposed to the company that, maybe initially they were exposed to me at, was because of that personal touch. And I did a lot of video. I adopted Bomb Bomb at like 2015. and
Yep.
did just a lot of exposure to me, to my personality. um, I'm 34 years young now. When I did that, I was a lot younger. But and I find that it's the big piece is that just having that integrity and being able to go ahead and have people just know who you are is huge. I have so many clients that now they'll have saved my number, and then gosh, I remember like, gosh, I haven't done your deal for like 9 years, but still, it's that instant connection. And one of my superpowers is I've always, especially from the call center, when you're dealing with 12 new applications a day, 12 new people a day, writing down everything within my conversation, remembering certain things about what in that conversation. And then people love it, and saving my, just even a simple saving my on my cell phone, which is now transitioned to a Zoom line, but still saving all of those contacts. Every single time I speak to somebody, regardless of whoever they are saved in my phone. So that way, when they call, I answer them by first name. And that just is
Right.
a big piece of being able to not only be able to have them feel special, but also helps you really support people or escrow officers or, what have you, and being able to have that connection, because that's important. And then being able to go ahead and have that remembrance and have people know, like, and trust you is the biggest part of why database actually matters, and why you can. I know you can reactivate it, but it's a big piece is having people keep on coming back for that same experience and wanting to go ahead and just be known, and be, and they trust you for it.
That's amazing. So you use BombBomb throughout your process when you take the loan application and for customers, but also for referral partners that are all part of that deal process?
I would say that I use video. I started because BombBomb was one of
Cool.
the first mass delivery systems.
Yep.
Currently, what I'm using is Loom, and the reason why I use Loom is because of their AI features. I use Dub for a little bit in between, but what I love about Loom is that within the AI feature, you can get the transcription, and then with that transcription, run it through a GPT that has it's taking what I'm saying, but
Yep.
it puts it into a nice format that's for my persona, and then I can be able to put that into the description, put that into the email, fire off, go, take a video, fire off, go, take a video, fire off, go. And it has severely decreased the amount of time that it takes to have that personal touch where they still
Yep.
listen to the video and it's still me. But then they can be able to have, if they didn't listen to the video, or if everybody that I'm CCing, they can still see that polish. And it's like, oh my gosh, look, you took the time to go ahead and do this, but it's still me, and it's still going through what I've been emailing and how I wish to go ahead and have things and curated. So Loom that way. The only thing I wish that they had a little better Jiffy when you're texting, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'll deal with it. But that is currently the system that I'm using as I'm firing off.
That's amazing. That is absolutely incredible. And then the other thing about that is people can leave you notes right inside the platform, and you can tell when they open the video, when they watch it, how
Mhm.
far along they watched the video. Like the analytics in the back end of that stuff is absolutely fantastic. And Jay, if you haven't been in there in a while, I don't know necessarily, it might be a beta that we're part of, but they now have an avatar tool within there. So after you have enough of those looms and your personal head going,
Mhm.
you can actually just put the script in there. And I think they're using Synthesia or maybe one of
Okay.
these other AI tools where you can punch in a script and it looks just like you, sounds just like you, but you punch in the script and it's actually sending the videos out for you. So new tech that's coming soon. And
Interesting.
yeah, so we do it manually right now. So we use a tool. It's not Synthesia. It's hold
Is that
on.
Hey Gen?
Yeah, Hey Jen. And so I've got a virtual clone of myself,
Mhm.
and then we're using those video tools actually inside the Loan Officer CRM to actually send those videos out to people. But because my team can just whip them through and create them based off a spreadsheet, we can actually insert people's names into the videos and they get a personalized video from me, but it's really an AI
Hmm.
avatar.
I know that Loom right now does allow you to be able to do dynamic changes. So you can be able to essentially record one video and you can have it for the name, and then it will fire off and you can play with it. So you like different phonetic names, you have to type it phonetically. You can't type it like how they have it. You can do it in a spreadsheet, and it will
Yeah.
go out. They just might say, yeah, do you know how to actually pronounce my name? But you can do that right now and generate a bunch of videos within Loom, but it's even one step further to be able to take KGen and
Yeah.
do that.
So for everybody listening, only do the Bobs in your database. Everybody else, you got to make those videos for real. All right. So Jay, thank you. So you mentioned the majority of your business coming from your past customer database. Are you doing anything special other than the videos and the video marketing to the past customer database to stay in touch? Do you have a newsletter? Like, how do you approach keeping that relationship warm with your past customer database?
So over the past, I guess within my career, I have tried to go ahead and friend people on like Facebook as well as within Instagram. So they're getting a little bit of that, my personality and my family there. I'd say like one of the big pieces is email marketing. So whether that marketing is going out within my company is sending out, we're sending also like their birthdays, anniversaries. They also will get texts as well. The other piece is I have a couple different other done for you marketing, kind of just fun things that necessarily aren't always mortgage that have been going out to. And we get a lot of people that respond to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's, any touch is a good touch, but having them know you, like you, trust you. And so do you find that you're getting communication from clients through Facebook Messenger and DMs and people switching over to these new instant messaging platforms to reach out to you to send you referrals?
It happens, but it's definitely not the most. I would say number one is email, and the second way that people will reach out to me is by text. I have the same phone number since forever. That got transitioned into a business line that I share with my team now, so to be able to help and make sure that we're following up actively with people.
That's amazing. Yeah, picking up the phone, the most profitable thing you can do in order to.
Yes, and the biggest source of freedom I would say that I gave myself about 2 years ago was transitioning my personal line into my business line, so that way it always gets answered, as opposed to my
Yep.
personal line knowing that I don't necessarily need to, may not need to get to that if I don't know you, but it just
That's amazing.
because otherwise I
That's
was
awesome.
always on, and now I can not necessarily be always on.
And with the young family, that gift of presence is the greatest thing in the world. That's amazing.
I think that was one of the hardest parts about being a dad and transitioning from like everything being me to like needing a team by necessity. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and the hard part too is we literally moved to Austin, Texas,
Oh,
right
wow.
as the pandemic was happening.
Uh,
My family is from South Texas, and I have family between um, San Antonio and Austin. My dad's the oldest of 9, so a lot of
oh,
aunts and uncles. But the hard part was all of my business. I thought I was gonna have to rebrand myself. Can I get all this business in Texas? And turns out COVID, everybody knows how to use Zoom. Even grandma knows how to use Zoom to talk to her grandchildren. So it just really magnified all of the licensing and being able to stay present in California and keep that California business. The problem with that was my family time. Everybody wanted to talk during my family time. So creating systems, having a team, having that loan partner to be able to go ahead and help take those hours before. And it's the past 6 months since I've transitioned and moved my family back to California. It actually shuts down at 5, as opposed to trying to go ahead and be like right in there. So that has been super helpful for my family. But I think the biggest piece is it forced me to have to apply systems, because it couldn't just be me and just make more calls and just do more me. It was taking
yep.
that highest and best use of time and where can I really be able to go ahead and have my team fill in the gaps and in some cases do things more consistently and better than me.
Yep. That's, it's funny. I went through something very similar where I was the brand for a long period of time. And now we have somewhere in there, I think we have 42 full-time people now. And the letting go of those things and coming to the realization like, oh wait, they do it a lot better than I did. That's awesome. That's great. Like the customers are happier, the customer service is better, the product is better, the having and getting to that. And then I get to enjoy the freedom with the
Hmm.
family and all those wonderful things. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about 2026 and like, is this the year of growth? Jay, what would you say to somebody who's making that first hire and bringing that first person in to their mortgage business, and they're saying, "Hey, look, I want to go from 4 or 5 loans a month to get to that 9 or 10 mark. You've got to have help to do it." Where would you say you would focus your efforts on your first hire, and what that person would do?
I would say that first hire would probably be somebody that is helping you with both pre-approvals and with actually like reviewing documentation. That's something that we as loan officers, we should be able to fix stuff, but we shouldn't be doing the stuff. And
Yep.
even if you don't know more than your loan out than your partner that is actually putting the loan together, that's okay too. But you just need to go ahead and be able to have somebody that can go step in, whether that's within like a regional or an underwriting manager within your company. But it just, you cannot be the one that is consistently doing that work because it
Yep.
is that is LOA pay. It is not loan officer pay.
That's
I
right.
think that the other piece that I would say to that, because one of the big things, especially as being an independent broker, we can hire whoever we want. Now,
Yep.
the problem with that is you can hire whoever you want. You don't have corporate that's saying we didn't like them. So what I would say is that as much as loan officers and salespeople, I'm frozen on my screen. Am I frozen on yours?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's totally cool.
Okay, no worries. But I would say the biggest piece is to bring in people to those secondary, third, and territory and fourth interviews, because it is a lot more painful to have gone through like a 15, a 30 or 60 or a 90 days with the wrong person than to take your time to be able to go out and actually hire, get opinion, taking like your broker, your mentor, have multiple people that will interview this person, because everybody looks great on paper and they may go ahead and look great and sell you in the interview, but then you're going to have somebody else that's going to go ahead and be following and may have the exact same thing. And they're say like, no, this is not the person. So I would say the big piece is be slow to hire, especially in this market right now where people are afraid of growth and they just see the precipice. Like we've been saying, the rates are going to drop for the past like what 2-3 years. So there's already been companies that have gone through and like, done that crazy hiring speed. There are still people that need a change, and there's good people and then that haven't been treated right and that are willing to go ahead and be invested in and take the time. You don't need to rush a hire. You do need to make a hire, but you need to, because it can't just be you. But I would say take the time to make the right hire.
Yep, I could not agree more. Yep, hire slow, fire fast, and make sure you get the right people on board. And we'll skip discussions for today about culture and all those wonderful things. We'll leave those for different episodes. So, keeping tangible. You mentioned earlier that you have kind of like a passion that you're working on in the mortgage industry, which I think is something absolutely incredible. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Myself, I'm passionate about about Hispanic home ownership, about Hispanic lending. I actually participate within 2 nonprofits at this time. So I am the government affairs board member for Home, which is the Hispanic originated Hispanic Organization of Mortgage Experts. So this is our second year of actually of being in existence, and it's rather an awesome mission. So one of the big pieces about Hispanic home lending, while we're currently a minority within Hispanics, and we are not going to be a minority within the next even less than 5 years, but there is only 1% loan officers that are licensed that reflect Hispanic heritage within the loan officer population. So we are severely underrepresented within the loan officer community. And there's a huge opportunity to not only be able to bring people to this occupation, but to also be able to go ahead and say, it's okay. You can go ahead and take the time and use technology and tools to help the process. I think one of the biggest myths is that Hispanics, one of the biggest myths is that it's going to be too hard to lend to Hispanics. That they don't have, like, there's maybe that down payment is too hard to overcome. But one of the biggest pieces is that you'll find is that there's a huge tenacity and a desire to go ahead and own a home within Hispanic culture. It is absolutely paramount, and you will find that you'll have brothers, sisters, tias, tios. You have abuelas that will go ahead and co-sign, and they'll come together, they'll pull money, and they will go ahead and have that foothold, and they will own a home. And one of the biggest pieces as well is not having access to documentation where you can understand. The language that you learn to count in is the language of which you understand numbers, and that's forever where you're going to be feeling comfortable. So even if you might have perfect English, but you still count in Spanish mentally, not knowing everything and seeing everything being written in English, it makes you pause and it makes you say, am I doing the right thing, or is something kind of going over my head? So it's important to be able to go ahead and give access to documentation and be able to go ahead and have this available to have people be able to make the right decisions, but also be able to go ahead and work with the right lenders. So many people work in, even in, regardless of language, people usually work with the first person that they speak with. They might go ahead and kind of check numbers or check otherwise, but being able to go ahead and actually understand what you are reading, giving somebody that trust because they spoke your language is huge. But what we find is that to be able to increase competition, that is where you have the consumer win. And if you can be able to have more lenders, more originators be able to go ahead and offer information within different languages, that is specifically Spanish, in this case, what we're advocating for, you're increasing the ability to not only be able to go ahead and help your company be able to meet a huge market that has a need, but also to be able to go ahead and help the population be able to understand what they're signing. And just as I was saying that you're going to be having other people that may be coming together on a multi-generational loan, you may be having, I know that who do you ask when you go ahead and say, hey, dad, what is this? Am I making the right decision? How are you expecting to have your parents or your mentors that you trust with, judgment and decisions, be able to go and understand if it's not in the language that they understand? So even if it's they are not the client, but being able to go ahead and have access to that documentation within the language that they can understand and that they can count in, it's a huge and a paramount and a need. And this is something that this is continuing, and we're having a lot of movement, but the biggest piece is just making awareness and having more lenders not want to go ahead and be missing out on this demographic. So the other organization that I'm a part of as well is the Broker Action Coalition. I'm the Hispanic Homeownership Council Chair for 2026 and for 2025. And we actually focus on advocacy as well within the legislature about what can be done, and working with different government parties as well. So while we're definitely separate, but we're within the same mission, and it's true to my heart personally. I grew up privileged to be having a wonderful Laguna Niguel experience growing up, but I remember going back like 6 times a year to Texas. Half my cousins don't speak Spanish. My dad never taught me Spanish because he was afraid that I would be looked at differently, or that I wouldn't be able to succeed. And I think he was of that generation that just was afraid of being discriminated against when he grew up. He was the first in his family to go to college, first in his family to go to high school in the U.S., naturalized, and ended up going to medical school and USC for his residency as he's an anesthesiologist. So I grew up privileged, but one of the big pieces that kind of just was hard for me to overcome is realizing of the identity, like where do I belong and how can I be able to go ahead and help with what I've been given. And I know that within being able to go and having learned Spanish in school, learn Spanish in Spain, and then just more and more practice, I think the biggest piece is just being able to go ahead and show what can be done, have the heart to care, and then with what the much is given, much is expected, and be able to go ahead and just be that advocate as well. So it's true and dear to my heart. And it was my daughter's first day of school today. We had her in bilingual preschool when we were in Austin, and this is a school that's been around since 1850, San Juan Elementary School. So it's kind of cool to be able to go ahead and see within that bilingual that continue. And I'm excited to go ahead and give her that opportunity that I didn't have to have from the beginning, but I know it's just so important and powerful.
That is amazing, Jay. That is absolutely incredible. For your advocacy for that community and for what is absolutely necessary, which is absolutely incredible. Congratulations on being the chair this year. A little personal aside. So our kids are in school in Costa Rica, and we specifically chose a faith-based school, but also a faith-based school that has multilingual. So they're learning Spanish as well. And they're already at the point where they're the fun time that they have in the car on the way home is making fun of my Spanish, because now they know Spanish better than I do. So there's that unexpected benefit that came along with it. They get to make fun of their dad. Okay, so we want to keep this close to drive time. Jay, that's absolutely incredible, but I did want to parlay, obviously, the conversation into AI a little bit, only because of speaking about the Hispanic market, because the AI voice agent inside the Loan Officer AI CRM, which you're a part of, and thank you for that, those voice agents are multilingual. So you can run campaigns, and the AI inside the CRM can take our English templates, and you just go into it and you just say translate to Spanish, and it will translate it. And you can tell it Spain Spanish or tell it Costa Rican Spanish. Like, it knows
Yeah.
the different ways. And then so you can translate all of those workflows into Spanish to get them sent. And when people call into the phone numbers, it can ask them, would you like this conversation in Spanish, or would you like this conversation in English? And whatever they respond back with is what the AI will speak with. And so that's super cool, and that's something that we have inside the CRM right now, but also something that I think that you should look into as part of your advocacy is Claude, which is Anthropic, which is an AI engine, but also now ChatGPT. They have these OCRs, or basically, like, it's the computer's ability to visually read documentation. And you can just plug into the back end of the developer tools on those platforms and create a document switcher, basically. So it's like you can feed a document into it that you want somebody to look at, and it will output it in whatever language you want. So you can actually take your loan documentation and put it on a website and say, oh, hey, if you want to see this in Spanish, just click this button. And it takes them to the Spanish version of the documentation. Your originals are in English, but the OCR actually takes it and translates it into whatever language that they want, so they can help. It helps with the understanding of the loan process, and you can basically, like, have everything translated in real time through those tools.
So, which is super helpful, because obviously, while Spanish is near and dear to my heart, there's still other languages that are needing, whether that's Vietnamese, Portuguese, Tagalog. There's a bunch of other opportunity to be able to help different markets with the exact same thing. Of the language that they learn to count in is where they feel comfortable.
Exactly. And it's as simple as, well, it's not simple. It's a complicated thing, but once you have it set up, you can literally have a button on your website of, like, how would you like your documentation? They just pick the language and it translates it into whatever language they want. And as soon as you have the AI installed, it knows all languages. So it can literally translate to any language that anybody wants. And it makes you truly, an omni lingual loan officer using technology. So interesting things to think about as you talk about advocacy and as you're networking with people, because there's absolutely, technology can help with those things and bring lending and accessibility to people. So,
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Jay, in closing, where do people find out more about you, get information? How do people reach out?
So I would say that probably the best way to be able to go ahead and find me would be Instagram. That would you can be able to go ahead and find me directly there, and then it also has access to, like, Linktree, and it has a bunch of other things. It's actually Popple is what I'm using currently, but that handle is JAY Rodriguez. There's 4 ways to spell Rodriguez, so I will spell it out. RODRIGUEZ. You'll also, of course, find the correct spelling within this, and then MLO, J Rodriguez MLO. That is my Instagram handle, and that has access to all of my different information and what I'm involved with.
That is amazing. Well, Jay, again, thank you for being on the show. All that information will be in the show notes below the show. And thank you for listening, everybody. And Jay, again, sincerely, thank you for taking your time and for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.